All right. So, okay, sharing my screen again, and there you go. Okay, so uh, what we have learned till now or about tuple, we will just revise that too, and then today we will continue with our new learning, that is sets. Okay, set. So what is set and how it is, like completely how we learn tuple and a list, like the similar way we will learn set also. So let's try to understand very quickly how what is tuple. So tuple is like exactly almost similar to a list where it stores multiple data types, right? Multiple data types like integer, float, string, and these values, boolean, set, everything, right? And this is one of the example of list where it also stores integer, float, string, boolean values, tuple, list, a dictionary, and a set. So this is something that we will try to cover today. Okay. So we have learned this one, that is list, or if you call this one entirely, we also got to learn what is integer, what are floats, what are string. Now today we will cover this particular. ये ज़्यादा ही mess up हो गया. Yes. So today we will try to cover this. Not really cover. We'll start what is set, and then in coming lectures we will try to understand what is this dictionary. Okay, and other things that we have covered. Then this is a typical example of tuple where it can store all the similar values that list can store. Okay, and this is how it looks. It is inside a parenthesis separated by comma, right? So this is what the tuple is. Then we saw some operations or where the first is type function. So if you use type function on list, it returns list. Whereas if you use type function on tuple, it returns a class as a tuple. Okay, class as a tuple. Then we try to understand whether can we modify or delete some items from the list and tuple. So we found that you can modify like Ronaldo to Cristiano Ronaldo in list, that is accepted. You can pop the second item, that is Neymar, or you can remove, you can clear from the list, but you cannot really do the same in the tuple, right? In the tuple. So here I wanted to change Rohit to Rohit Sharma because tuple is immutable. Here we got this particular error, and similarly, we cannot really pop, clear, or remove anything from tuple. So this is also something we cannot do, right? And but we can do this del operation. We can run this del operation on almost every data type, which actually deletes whatever the data type is from completely from the memory. Okay, completely from the memory. Then also we understood this tuple constructor. So whereas you can change any string, any list into a tuple. Okay, into a tuple and vice versa. Like you can change the tuple into a list. So that is also we have seen. Then we have seen some arithmetic operations where you can add any two tuple. So this is how they look, right? The first five elements, second five elements. You can multiply with 1, 2, 3, or whatever number, and they will come like this: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? But you cannot really mm, multiply any two tuples, so that will give us an error, and also you cannot subtract any two elements, so that will also give us error. And also we have seen the indexing, right? So indexing is entirely exactly same as list or string. So this is zeroth item, first item, second item, third item, and fourth item, right? So if I want zeroth item, so I will get this, right? And if I want minus fifth, minus one, so I will get this one. If I want from 0 to 3, so I will get these three, right? 0 to 3, I will get these three, and ये वाला cut हो जाएगा, 4 वाला cut हो जाएगा, and then it is almost like similar to the list. So, but I have given some example. Then, since the tuple is like you cannot really modify it, right? You cannot really modify it. So, you cannot really modify it. So, how can we basically change the tuple if it is necessary? The very formalize or a trick is you need to convert the tuple into a list, right? So this is the way you can do it. This is the shortcut that you can use, and like using this constructor that is list, you can convert the tuple into a list. Then you can whatever you can do, like you can change any item to any another item, or you can remove, you can add, right? Append all the operations that we have learned in the list, you can use it here, and then you can again convert that particular tuple into a sorry list into a tuple, and here you go, like initially the tuple was like this, and now the tuple is like this, that we have changed this first element to the 10, right, from 1 to 10. And similarly here we just popped out this 0th element. You can see initially the tuple was like this, and the finally it was looking like this. Then we try to understand, like, you know uh, the basic difference between tuple and list. So tuple is faster, whereas list is slower. Tuple is immutable, मतलब यहाँ पर you cannot really edit, whereas list you can really have a edit there. Okay, then I tried to create some dummy list or a tuple just to understand, whether we can see the difference of time with respect to tuple and with respect to list, but we could not really find because that dummy list was not enough for us to measure the time. Everything was running under a 0 nanoseconds, so that's why. But tuple is much faster than the list. Okay, so when you deal with like very entire big data, then you will get to see these kind of differences. Then, so this is one example of set that we try to compare, set versus tuple. So here we see only one difference. So set is unorganized, whereas tuple is ordered, like unordered and order, right? So unordered means like you cannot really predict how this output will come out, whereas tuple is like the similar way tuple will print out. Okay, so if you see here, so set was looking like this first, then it got changed somewhat in ascending order. This has been arranged. Okay, somewhat ascending order, like in but in tuple you see, whatever the data sequence was there, we got the same sequence. Then we also tried to run some if-else statement on tuple. So this is just for understanding, like we have already run understood if and else statements, but I just wanted to run it on tuple. So this was a tuple, and I gave it a condition if AI int t1. T1 is tuple 1. So it gave us this output, right? Similarly, I wanted to run the for loop. So that also I have done on set and on the tuple. So tuple does support for loop, tuple does support if else loop, and then we kind of went through all these functions, that is index, count, length, min, max, sum functions. So index is something that whatever elements or whatever items index if you want to calculate, if you want to know. So we wanted to know what is the index of AI. So this is zero, this is zero, this is first, this is second, and third. But let's say you have like a very big data set, very long, like thousands of elements are there, thousands of items are there. You want to know, like, there is a one word that is AI. Okay, that is AI. So you want to know the index of that particular item. So you can use like T1 or tuple 1, whatever the tuple length is, and then you will say dot index, and whatever the item you want to know. So we got to know the index as 2 here, right? Then we also got to know, like let's say you have the same data set of thousands of characters or items in it, and you want to know like how many times this AI word has come. So you will use this count function. And similarly, these other functions also. If you want to calculate the length of the function, you will use length of this t2. If you want to count, so we just seen. If you want to count the index, we have just seen. If you want to know what is the maximum number of this particular t2, right, or tuple, so you can use max of this particular tuple, so it will return this 5. Okay. Similarly for minimum, so it will return or the smallest number. And for the summation, it will sum up everything and give you 15 as a summation. And also we have seen the sorted is almost similar to the list. So if you have some list, you can, if you want to sort, so you can just say sorted of that particular tuple, not the list, tuple, and it will get sorted, right? It will get sorted. And then if you want to sort it in a descending order, so you just have to say reverse equals to true, right? Reverse equals to true. And we have seen this reversed function is not working for the tuple, but that is fine. We already have this sort and reverse equals to true function. And I think that about it that we have learned. So let's start with the new topic. Any questions there, guys? Any questions there? If you have any questions regarding the yesterday's class or the class that and the thing that we have just talked about, so please feel free to drop in the comments or ask in the chat or ask by doing open mic. Until then, I'll just prepare a new file that is 1 is to 16th topic that we are learning, and that is the topic called set. Okay, IPYNP. So the kernel is corrected. Let's try and learn what is set. Okay, set. Okay, so while learning set, so while learning tuple, okay, while learning tuple, we already gone through this in like we have seen one example of set also. Okay, we have seen one example of set also. So let's create one example of set. Let's say set 1 is equals to uh, some number, some floats, some string or hello. This is fine. Okay, so this is like one example of set. Okay, this is one example of set. Okay, so this is how it returns, right? This is how what it returns. So now let's understand what is it. Okay, let's try to understand what is it. So the very first thing you can see here, or also we have seen in the tuple, that is set is unordered, right? Set is unordered, like it is unordered data type, right? This is unordered data type. Basically, set is a data type and it is an unordered one, and it is a mutable one, right? It is a mutable data type, and I think it does not really allow the duplicates. It does not allow duplicates. Set is a collection of unique elements. Set is an order. Okay, we just don't need to understand those things. So no duplicates element. So these three things are important in order to, if you want to learn set, right? The very first thing is it is unordered. So the way you write the things, or the way the data or set has the items, not necessarily the same way we will get them in the output, right? You don't really know the index of these functions. Like usually we would say like ये तो zeroth element है, ये first element, ये second है, third है, fourth है, ये वाला और ये fifth है. But in set, this is completely wrong. This is completely wrong. ये कुछ इस तरीके से होता ही नहीं है. In fact, सेट में ऑर्डर होता ही नहीं है. So there is no indexing. Indexing होती ही नहीं है. So if you try and find any elements index, so there is that does not make any sense actually. Let's say if you say मेरे को zeroth element बताओ, it will give me some error, right? It will give me some error because this is this element don't really have this element don't really have any index. So initially it was zero, like in यहाँ पर you can see it is now one, right? So these elements don't really have any index. Okay, these elements don't really have index. Another thing, set is a mutable data type. Mutable means you can change the items, right? So you can change hello to something else. You can change this. You can, like, similarly what we do in the list. It is similar to that, right? So this is how it is. Let's try to write mutable. So mutable things are, the very first thing is list is mutable, right? List को हम change कर सकते हैं. Second is dictionary. Third is set. So we will learn about this dictionary also. Okay, in the coming lectures. And the second thing is tuple. Sorry, the immutable. The immutable. The very first thing immutable is this tuple that we have recently learned, right? ये वाला हमने recently learned किया है, जिसमें you cannot really change the things. The second, so इनको भी immutable consider करा जाता है. That is string, integer, float, and boolean. So you cannot really change any string, right? You cannot really change any integer. एक जो one होता है, one you cannot change one, right? So this is an integer. So you cannot change this one. ये one one ही रहेगा always. एंड फ्लोट को भी, एंड इवन बुलियंस, बुलियंस में क्या होता है, ट्रू एंड फॉल्स होता है, राइट? ट्रू एंड फॉल्स आर बुलियंस. So this is all about the set. So one more thing or some more notes we can write, that sets are enclosed within these braces, like curly braces. What you call these braces? As curly braces, right? You call these braces as curly braces. And what happened? And and the items in set are comma separated. Okay, the items in the set are comma separated. Okay, so we have seen this. So these are curly braces. Okay, these are curly braces, and the item in the list are comma separated. So जो भी item comma separated रहेगा, so अभी ये एक entirely one item हो गया for with respect to the set. Okay, so similarly ये चीज सिमिलर हमने टपल में भी देखा है, लिस्ट में भी देखा है. So this is the way, like, you know, we have just learned list, but most of the things are there in the tuple, most of the things are there in the set, and there will be most of the things in the dictionary as well. Okay, so when we will learn this dictionary, so you just have to uh, like focus on, like, if you just learn list also, the most of the thing will work for tuple also and set also. But prior, the thing is, like, you must understand, you must know the differences between them, right? So list में क्या होता है, लिस्ट इज लिस्ट में लाइक सारी चीजें होती है, बट यहाँ पर राउंड लाइक स्क्वायर ब्रेसेस होते हैं, वेयर एज टपल में राउंड ब्रेसेस होते हैं, राइट? राउंड ब्रेसेस लाइक दीज. लिस्ट में कुछ ऐसे ब्रेसेस होते हैं स्क्वायर, टपल में कुछ राउंड ब्रेसेस होते हैं, एंड सेट में कुछ इस तरीके से ब्रेसेस होते हैं, राइट, एंड एवरीथिंग इज सेपरेटेड बाय, एवरी आइटम इज सेपरेटेड बाय कॉमा. ओके, एंड डिक्शनरी में कैसा रहेगा? दैट इज अगेन सिमिलर टू सेट, राइट, सिमिलर टू सेट रहेगा, लेकिन यहाँ पर की वैल्यू पेयर रहेगा. तो की इज टू वैल्यू पेयर. ओके, so when we will learn dictionary तब आपको पता चल जाएगा ये चीज. So these are the things are there which are uh, related to the set. Okay, any questions here till now? Anything that you have not understood what I have just said? I hope this is clear. Okay, so moving on to next things. Okay, moving on to next thing. So one more thing, like let's try to go to the functions of it, right? So if I say set one is equals to again some value, यही ले लेते हैं, ठीक है? So if I check the type function, right? इसका type check करेंगे तो what we will get? We will get set, right? We will get set. But let's say you have you have an empty list. Sorry, you have an empty set. ठीक है, यहाँ पर कुछ है ही नहीं इसके अंदर. So now if you check this, now if you check this, so it will not come as set. It should come as a dictionary. See, it has just come as a dictionary. So what notes we can write is, so when we use curly braces, when the curly braces are empty, it is not a set, it is a dictionary. Okay, it is a dictionary. So when a set or when a curly braces has some values and separated by comma, only separated by comma, okay, no other thing. So let me just give you one example of dictionary. So let's say I say dictionary is equals to this. So I say name equal to John. So this is a typical example of a dictionary. Okay, if I go and say dictionary one, and if I print this, it says type is a dictionary. So why, what is the difference here in set and dictionary? So in dictionary we have these pairs. Okay, ये एक pair है और यहाँ पर you can see the comma is here, not here actually. Okay, so this is one item, this is another item, this is another item. So यहाँ पर some values have some values, like नाम पूछा गया, that is a John, age पूछी गई है, that is 30, and city कहाँ से रह रहा है, ये न्यूयॉर्क में रह रहा है, right? So but here it is not like relation, यहाँ पर कोई relation नहीं है. यहाँ पर relation maintain कर रहे हैं कि name का वैल्यू जॉन है, एज का वैल्यू 30 है, वैल्यू की का वैल्यू, सॉरी, सिटी का वैल्यू न्यूयॉर्क है. तो इनको की बोला जाता है, राइट, इनको की बोला जाता है, तो इनको वैल्यूज बोला जाता है. ये भी की हो गया, ये वैल्यू हो गया, की हो गया, वैल्यू हो गया. Whereas सेट में कुछ ऐसा रहता है नहीं. Okay, we don't have anything in the set. It is like similar to list or tuple. Okay, it is similar to list and tuple. So these are some examples of a set, dictionary, and tuple. So let's try to write everything, like let's say example like list. Let's say we have a list. So list कुछ ऐसा रहेगा, right? List कुछ ऐसा रहेगा. List कुछ ऐसा रहेगा. Then we have this. Then we have this tuple, right? So tuple कुछ ऐसा रहेगा, right? Then we have a string. String will something like this, like this. Anything which is enclosed by this, like double quote, single quote, right? Now the set will look like this, जिसमें uh, these are curly braces and values are separated by comma. Whereas dictionary does look like this. अच्छा भाई example, right? So dictionary does look like this. Okay, so this is like in a single box, a nice differentiation for you, right? Nice differentiation for you. So you will have a right idea ki, okay, so this is the list जिसमें ये square braces we can find. These are a tuple and these are the string and everything. So I hope this is clear, right, guys? So if this is clear, please type yes in the comments so I will get to know like you are there and you are understanding what I'm saying. If this is clear, type yes in the comments. I will get the idea whether you are getting this or not. Until then, I'll get a water. Yes, yes, cool. We have one more student with us जो आज lecture कर रहे हैं. So here she is. Okay, sit down. So this is a student. इसका नाम क्या रखना है? Guys, let us know in the comments what name we should give her. So let her see the lecture also along with us. What name we should keep yours? Any name suggestion in the comments? Until then, let her sleep for a moment. So there is one interesting. Let her bring and sit here. So there is one interesting question. अरे उसके सर को लग गया guys. That interviewer ask is remove duplicates. Remove duplicates from list without using for loop. Okay, without using for loop. So this is a very popular question that interviewers ask, and we need to like let's try and see how we can solve this question, right? Without using loop or without using a duplicate function. Like there are some probably a function that is used for removing the duplicates. Okay, so let's see. We have a list of like this. So isme what we can say is we have 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Like these things are repeated, right? The ये सारी duplicate things are there. Okay, so we want to remove these things, but we don't have want to use loop, right? Loop में क्या किया रहता था हमने? For I in list 2, we would have said कि you know जो भी नंबर है like for I is not in the set अरे यार ये set क्यों आ गया और like we would have done something कि अगर ये आइटम फिर से है तो let's let's pop it. ठीक है, अगर आइटम फिर से मिलता है तो let's pop it. But there is a thing that we have just learned that set does not allow a duplicate items, right? No suggestions. इसको नाम दे दो यार कोई. So what we have learned is कि set does not allow duplicate items, right? So agar if I convert this into a set, right? If I say set one, set of list two, right? If I say set one, set of list two, and if I simply call set, so what will happen is it will remove all the duplicate items. See, it has removed all the duplicate items. And again, I can say like, okay, list, फिर से list में change कर दो इसको. Okay, फिर से list में change कर दो. And इसको मैं list 3 कर देता हूँ. And if I now ask list 3 or so you can see चल रहा है अभी. It is taking a little bit time. So now you can see पहले the initial list was like this, right? Initial list was like this, जिसमें ये एक चीज था और ये एक चीज था. Now you can see using this set function we have removed the duplicate items. तो ये जो भी पहले ये लिस्ट में कन्वर्ट सेट में कन्वर्ट हुआ रहेगा, एंड द सेट में तो डुप्लीकेट वैल्यूज चलती नहीं, सो दैट्स व्हाई द थिंग्स हैव गॉट रिमूव्ड. So if you see, अगर मैं कोई सेट ले लेता हूँ, लेट्स से लाइक दिस, and इसमें if I add 1 comma 1 comma 2 comma 2 and if comma 3, and if I run this, so what will happen is we get 1 2 3 only, right? So ये 1 चले गया, 2 चलेगा, ठीक है? So this is also something we must understand. So initially I have told you, जिसका example देना रह गया था, that set does not allow duplicate items, right? तो अभी क्या क्या चीज देखा हमने? अच्छा, अभी तक यही चीज देखा, सब अभी तक यही चीज देखी हमने. अभी ये अनऑर्डर्ड एंड म्यूटेबल है नहीं है, ये चीजें हम देखते हैं, राइट? और सो बेसिकली अनऑर्डर्ड भी देख लिया हमने. दिस इज वन ऑफ द एग्जांपल ऑफ अनऑर्डर्ड. व्हाट एग्जांपल वाज इट? दिस वन, राइट? दिस वन. सो इसका ऑर्डर कुछ और था, इसका ऑर्डर कुछ और है, सो दैट इज व्हाई वी से दिस इज अनऑर्डर्ड. एंड व्हाई इट इज does not store a duplicate, that is also we have seen, ठीक है? That is also we have seen. One more thing that we have seen is कि it does not basically follow the indexing, right? It does not follow the indexing. It does not follow the indexing. Okay, it does not follow the indexing. It does not follow the indexing. तो इसका एक एग्जांपल देख लेते हैं कि लेट्स चेक वेदर इट डज रियली फॉलो या नहीं फॉलो करता है, या नया नया सेट में या ये फॉलो कर रहा है. तो indexing not supported in set. Okay, so let's check with one example. So the example is इसी को उठा लेते हैं, ठीक है? सेट 4 को ही उठा लेते हैं. So here if you see set 4 और इसका मुझे फर्स्ट एलिमेंट दे दो, ठीक है? फर्स्ट एलिमेंट, इफ आई आस्क फॉर फर्स्ट एलिमेंट कौन सा रहेगा? ये, राइट? इफ आई रन दिस, what will happen is that is not subscribable, subscriptable, right? Subscriptable. So you cannot really get the first index. तो ये फर्स्ट आएगा, राइट? ये फर्स्ट इंडेक्स नहीं आएगा. That's what it says, right? That's what it says. So basically indexing does not work with this, and it also does not work what? The slicing. So slicing will also not work. Slicing, okay? Slicing भी यहाँ पर काम नहीं करेगा. तो हमारे सिलेबस में से दो चीज तो चली गई, राइट? इंडेक्सिंग तो पढ़ने की जरूरत ही नहीं है यहाँ पर. मैं और इंडेक्सिंग एंड स्लाइसिंग डज नॉट सपोर्ट, राइट? स्लाइसिंग का भी एक एग्जांपल देख लेते हैं. लेट्स सी वन एग्जांपल ऑफ स्लाइसिंग. लेट्स से सेट 4 ऑफ मुझे दे दो 0 से लेकर 2 तक के एलिमेंट, राइट? एंड इफ आई आस्क दिस लाइक 0 से लेकर यहाँ तक, तो ये तो कट हो जाना चाहिए था, लेकिन this again does not support slicing, ठीक है? Just because this is not organized, like ordered. अगर ये ordered रहता तो this slicing and indexing would have worked, right? And like since this does not work, तो step size तो work करना ही नहीं चाहिए, right? क्योंकि ये चीज तो है नहीं. So this 2 is a step size, right? You remember, right? Like Mr. Mario का example हम लेते थे. So this is how these all three things does not work. So this again becomes an interview question, whereas they will try to trick you. ठीक है? They will say कि code मत लिखो. So this is the example, or even in the aptitude exam also, they try to ask such kind of questions where they say कि ये तुम्हारे सामने सेट है तो इसका इंडेक्सिंग के हिसाब से जीरोथ एलिमेंट कौन सा है तो यू विल डायरेक्टली से कि यार वन है ना बट इट इज नॉट लाइक इट सो दिस इज नॉट सब्सक्रिप्टेबल राइट so you have to say like इसमें error आ जाएगा क्योंकि this is unordered sets are unordered and this is why it will not work okay it will not work so quickly moving ahead I hope this is until now everything is clear right until now everything is clear if everything is clear again type yes in the comments otherwise any questions do type in the comments or open your mic okay until then I assume everything is clear so now mm, let's try to understand let's say I have this tuple okay a tuple or let's say I have this mm, t equals to 1 comma 2 comma 3 comma 4 comma 5 चलो ठीक है so I have this something okay I have this something like ये integer c है so if I say print parenthesis of t ठीक है parenthesis of t तो अभी parenthesis I have added a parenthesis what happened here is ये tuple बन गया right ये tuple बन गया anything which is inside a round braces or a parenthesis is called as tuple ठीक है it's called as tuple so now if I want to change this into a set okay so if I say set new equals to set of set of uh, set of t right set of t so now you can see set new set new is set new is a set so from these values हमने ये constructor use करके what we have done is we have changed this tuple into a set ठीक है from values to tuple from tuple to a set okay from values to tuple to a set so tuple को like किसी भी चीज को tuple में change करने के लिए you just need to add the value inside a parenthesis right inside a parenthesis so these are parentheses तो इसमें हमने ये t को ऐड कर दिया right t को ऐड कर दिया and then using this set operator or constructor what we did is कि इस tuple को set में convert कर दिया okay tuple को set में convert कर दिया so this is also like a use like how you can change the things into a set that I have explained okay that I have explained some more examples so typically like we can run if else statement or for loop usually in the set as well right the similar way that we do in the tuple or in the list so let's see some example right let's see some example so let's make one list whereas 1 comma 3 comma 11 comma 2 comma 5 comma hello comma this and some more string hello world some more so now you can see it does contain this duplicate value it does contain this tuple does contain these strings so what it does basically why it is unordered so if you see if I just return this what it will do it tries to uh, order the elements as ascending order right as a ascending order so if you see this is like it consider as a very smallest number then 1 1.2 then 11 I don't know 2 okay there's like not ascending order it just try to do it by letter so this is like 1 comma 1 then 2 3 4 something like this. But completely, this is unordered that we have denoted. Okay, unordered. But anyway, this is the classic example of a set. Okay, so let's try and run for loop on it. Okay, let's try and run for loop on it. यहाँ पर ही run कर लेते हैं. If I say for I in set new, okay, if I in set new, and if I simply say print I, okay, if I simply say print I, so what should happen, guys? Drop in the comments. What should happen? Like, how should be the output? How should be the output? What should be the output? So if you remember for loop that we have learned by giving so many days, so we must understand what the output that we should get, right? What the output that we should get from this. So what the output we should get. So the very first thing that I understand is that I have learned is what is this? This I is something which checks the item, and this set is a iterator. So इस iterator में से ये it will check each and every item, right? Each and every item, each and every item, like this, and it will try to return those things. So same, someone says same. So it will not return the same. It will basically remove these duplicate numbers. So you can see 1 1 जो था ये एक ही बार आया है and the order is different, right? The order is completely different. So this is how this for loop works the same way that we have learned, and this enumerate function also works the same. जिसमें this comes with this what we called as indexing and these values. Okay, these values, again these values are not ordered, but ये जो भी output आएगा उसको what it does is it gives the index, somewhat index, output को index देता है, not to this, not to this. Okay, the output जो output आया है उसको इसने indexing कर दिया. ठीक है, output आया उसको इसने indexing कर दिया. So you can also like write if I say the same example, मतलब कुछ भी नहीं, like I've just added a enumerate इसमें अगर if I say index comma value and if I say print index comma value or I comma b j comma I comma j कुछ भी, you can use any two elements here. Okay, and if I print this I will get something like this. Okay, so ये tuple में आ रहा था output एक एक, so now this is like entirely uh, different, like, right? So this is how the set is. Okay, set is. So one more function that we should discuss, since we are discussing the like ये चीजें डिस्कस कर लिया हमने, राइट? तो स्लाइसिंग नहीं वर्क कर रहा है, इंडेक्सिंग वर्क नहीं कर रहा है, या ये नहीं कर रहा है. सो आई वांट टू नो फ्रॉम यू गाइस, like since the set is unordered, right? Since the set is unordered, क्या sort or sorted function will work with a set? This is a question, guys. Okay, this is a question. So if your question is yes, answer is yes, type yes. If your answer is no, type no in the comment. Just let me know whether what understanding you have, like क्या ये sort function सेट में वर्क करेगा या नहीं करेगा, राइट? क्या ये sort function सेट में वर्क करेगा या नहीं करेगा, राइट? लिस्ट में बता देता है एक बार, लिस्ट 1 इज इक्वल टू 11 comma 1 comma something comma something, okay, and something. If I just say list 1 dot sort, right? If I say something like this, so what happens? What happened here? Okay. So if I say, so it gives, should have printed any, none. ये तो बाउंसर हो गया. Okay, okay. List 1. I am making some mistake in the, okay. Sort or sorted, will it work or not work? So has anyone typed? Suha says yes. I say yes. No. Prashik says yes. Some more. Anyone else? So let's see the same thing in the tuple. Sorry, the set. Right? Let's say set one. Yeah. So this is a set one. And if I simply say set two is equal to sorted of set one, and if I try to print it, it does print it, but it removes the duplicate item. Okay, it removes the duplicate item, right? So this is how the sort will function will also work. But logically, if I would have not, let me just show you, does not really make sense, but the operation is same. Like if I use it into but the output is different, guys. यहाँ पर if you see, now the output is a list, but whereas here it is a dictionary. ठीक है? तो यहाँ पर we can understand, like these things are very smaller, like very detailed things that if you don't even remember, that doesn't, that like it's okay. But if you want to learn, like let's learn. So what under the hood, what happens is it changes. Actually, sort doesn't work, right? Sort doesn't work, but the sorted function will return a new list, right? So what happens is it changes under the hood. This sort function will change this set to a list. Okay, list में change करेगा, then it will return. Otherwise, sort function it shouldn't have worked, right? It shouldn't have worked. So, for example, uh, set one dot sort, तो ये सिमिलरली कर लेता हूँ मैं, तो it shouldn't have worked. ठीक है, तो set object is not has no attribute sort. ठीक है, इस तरीके से it will not work. But when you use this sorted function under the hood, what happens is it changes this particular dictionary or set into a list, and then it does the sorting operation, and then it returns, right? Otherwise, if I just simply run this particular set, we will get the same output but in a dictionary format. Okay, in a dictionary format. So that's about it, because like we have a very less time, like 5 minutes. So that's about it today. Tomorrow, what we will learn is we will learn the set again. Yes, we will learn the set again, and this may we will learn the functions of that. ठीक है, we will learn the functions. तो आज हमने बस इसका fundamentals जो भी है, like whether it has a curly braces, it has a comma, how, whether it is unorganized. So I'm just revising this, guys. Okay, whether it is unordered, ठीक है, unordered क्यों है, that I have already explained you. Whether it is a mutable one or not, वो उसका इसका एग्जांपल रहेगा, I will give you. Whether it has a duplicates or not, तो ये डुप्लीकेट भी सपोर्ट नहीं करता है. अगर डुप्लीकेट आप इसमें ऐड कर देते हो, if you see one and one repeated है, but in the output you cannot see, you won't be seeing the one repeated time, right? Then it is, these are the mutables, these are immutables. ये curly braces होता है. Then there is like what are the items inside, वो comma separated होता है, right? That we have seen here. So this is the basically a definition of a set. So if someone asks you, say set, so you will say set is something, anything which is enclosed within curly braces, separated by comma, which is unordered and immutable, where which does not allow a duplicate items, right? Is called as a set, right? Is called as set. So these are the things you can say in the interview, right? And these are some examples. Like you cannot really access indexing, so this does not support. Does not follow indexing or slicing or other sequence like behavior, right? Or other sequence like behavior. और क्या दिख रहा है? Set is a collection of unique items. That is fine. Set is another. ठीक है. Anyway, so it does not support indexing, slicing, or other sequence-like operations. So if you see sort is something that we have just learned, it is also a sequence-like operation. ठीक है? ये भी sequence create करवाता है, right? This is also something which creates a sequence. So this is also not subscribable. So basically, the answer of your question, this is not right. This is wrong. Okay, this should be a wrong one, right? This should be a wrong one, but like I had also asked for sorted. So sorted work करता है, but the thing is it does not work on the set. What happens is it changes this set first into a list and then it does the sorting work. Okay? Then it does the sorting work. What other things that we have learned? So we have seen this enumerate function जो हमने पहले देखा था. तो what it does कि इसको key value पे इसमें ये change कर देता है. Like these are the key, sorry, values, and these are the index and values, not key and values. Then we have seen this another example of enumerate. We have seen for loop भी इसमें work करता है. We can also see like if I is I equals like if equals to one, if hello if hello in set new, if hello in set new, then only this for loop run करो. ठीक है? So the output should be same. ठीक है? So I am running of if also, और उसके अंदर मैंने for चला दिया. अगर मैं यहाँ पर hello कर देता हूँ, so what will happen? It will not work, right? यहाँ पर ये यहाँ तक कोड चलेगी नहीं गया. What happened is ये false हो गया. ठीक है? And whenever it is false, तो else चल जाता है. Else हमने लिखा नहीं है यहाँ पर. ठीक है? तो मैं इसको फिर से hello कर देता हूँ. Now this is true. Once this is true, what happens is this particular code will run. Okay, this particular code will run, and now you can see the for loop भी चलता है. So my motive was here is कि if else statement भी चलता है, for loop भी चलता है, enumerate भी चलता है, while loop भी चलता है इसके अंदर. ठीक है? Then we said this constructor जिसमें you can change any number to a tuple, any tuple to a set, right? And one interview question that we took is how to remove duplicates without using any loop, right? Without using any loop. So you just need to convert any list into a set. It will eventually remove the things. And this is something that we have learned till now. ये हम आगे जाकर सीखेंगे कि list कुछ ऐसी होती है, tuple कुछ ऐसा है, string, then integer, float, all of the things, and set is something look like this. for you to have a differentiation. Okay. So that's about it today, guys. So any questions there? Any questions? Do you have any questions, lady? So if there is any question, please raise your hand or let's talk about it. And if there is no question, right, you need to know what you need to do. You need to type win in the comments so that I will understand whether you have understood or not. So one win, so great, win. So if you understood, type win in the comments. Otherwise, I will get to know like how much नहीं आ रहा है. अगर win, okay, yes, I can see a hand raised. Yes, not raised. Okay, if still there is any question, you can type or you can share in the comments. She is getting happy that you are typing win in the comments. So इसको नाम दे दो कोई. ठीक है. So bye bye and see you tomorrow. मिलते हैं नेक्स्ट लेक्चर में.